This is the disclaimer for the video you're about to watch, as well as all videos belonging to the Lynn Wick channel on all platforms on which we operate this channel. No part of this publication, which includes this YouTube video, may be reproduced, stored in a retrievable system, or transmitted in any form or by any means except as permitted by the United States Copyright Act without the prior express written consent of the broadcaster, Lynn Wick. While we use our best efforts to prepare content for this site, we make no representation or warranties with respect to the accuracy or completeness of the content of the videos, including any content, links, or resources shared by third parties. Furthermore, all parties specifically disclaim any express or implied warranties of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. The advice and strategies contained herein may not be suitable for your situation. No legal advice or financial advice is being given herein, as we are not attorneys or financial advisors. You should consult with a professional where appropriate. No liability or damages shall take place because of this content. Furthermore, your use of this site and watching these videos confirms your agreement that the state of Ohio law applies to all disputes relating to this site, videos, and venue. For all claims and disputes relating to this site and videos shall be in the state of Ohio.
How much time do you spend being quiet and just listening to God? You say, well, now, I have to get up and go to work, or get up a few minutes early. In other words, you'd be better off getting up a few minutes early or lying there a few minutes longer and being quiet and just simply praying, God, I don't know what this day holds, because you don't. I don't know all that's going to happen. You don't. I don't know who all I'm going to meet. You don't. I don't know what all I'm going to need. You don't. I can ask 100 questions and you don't know the answer to any of them. That's why we need to start the day listening to God.
You say you trust God, but you still panic when things don't go your way. You post God's timing is perfect, then stress when the plan takes longer. You pray for strength, but ask Him to remove every challenge. You say, I surrender, then rewrite the instruction every morning. That's not trust, that's control. You want blessings, but you want them on your schedule. You want miracles, but you still want to micromanage God like He's your employee. Trust feels like free fall. It's saying, even if I lose it, I know I won't lose myself. It's peace in delay, patience in silence, and faith without proof. So stop asking for signs and start building stamina. You're not waiting on God. He's waiting on you to actually trust Him. The moment you stop controlling everything, you realize He already had it under control.
Here's what to do when God isn't showing up, or it looks like He's not showing up, when the prayer isn't being answered, or it feels like it's not being answered. This just totally gives me peace. Though you have not seen Him, love Him. Though you do not see Him now yet, believe in Him, because your faith being tested is going to result in the glory of God. And if there's one thing only that I could tell you how to live, it would be live for the glory of God. And what glorifies him is though you do not see him, you love him. Though you do not see him showing up in your situation, yet you believe in him and you believe him and you trust him.
Brother wind on my face, morning light through the pines. Why would I clutch tomorrow when mercy meets me in time? A little brown sparrow sings from the fence by the road. Let every anxious whisper be gathered, be still. If love tends to the least, then love is tending me. I will sing in the valley, I will sing on the hill. For the eye that loves the sparrow is the eye that keeps me still. I will sing because I'm carried, sing because I'm free. If he watches o'er the sparrow, he is watching over me. Sister moon lights my path, brother sun warms the day. All creation is a choir that teaches me to pray. Why should I fear the night? Why should the shadows stay? I bless the ones who harm me, Lord, make my mercy wide. If love feeds field and sky, love lays a table for me. I will sing in the valley, I will sing on the hill. For the eye that loves the sparrow is the eye that keeps me still. I will sing because I'm carried, sing because I'm free. If he watches o'er the sparrow, he is watching over me. When the road grows narrow, I let my weapons fall. For cruciform love leads on, His grace is over all. Little sparrow on the wire, teach my heart to trust. His watchful eye is faithful, and His mercy's just. I will sing in the valley, I will sing on the hill. For the eye that loves the sparrow is the eye that keeps me still. I will sing because I'm carried, sing because I'm free. If he watches o'er the sparrow, he is watching over me. I will sing in the valley, I will sing on the hill. For the eye that loves the sparrow is the eye that keeps me still. I will sing because I'm carried, sing because I'm free. If he watches o'er the sparrow, he is watching over
Good morning, Grand Rising family. Wow, it's been so long. I feel like I haven't talked to you forever. I have been so busy. I had those meetings, and then I had something else popped up, and then I had things I had to do here, and it's just like, oh my God, is it ever going to slow down? But I'm here. I'm absolutely here. I'm here. I'm here. Anyway, you know what? I kind of sat back and I says, you know what? Do you understand that every time we listen to someone talk about God, any way, which form or manner, that they're always telling us the truth about something? And the music fits right in, whether it's happy, whether sometimes it's sad, but there's always a story in there. You know, sometimes we don't realize that when we just hear, oh, good music. Hey, let's go. But I just, sometimes I sit back and go, huh. And I listen to it again and I go, they're telling a story. I a lot of people that I was in this meeting with, they are so clueless. I mean, it's right in front of them. And they were so clueless. And I just so wanted to say, wake up, people. But, it's a professional meeting, so you really can't say anything. But, you can't even say, good morning, Grand Rising. They just want you to say, good morning. Okay, so good morning. Oh my goodness, I had so much fun with them. I wanted to just rip their heads apart. Have you ever had that experience where you wanted to do something so bad, but you couldn't do it? And it's just, I would never do that. But it's just, come on now. But you know what? Then it became more happier for me once I got off. Oh my goodness. And then yesterday was another story. I was on the phone all day, arguing, fighting, and trying to get something done. And then they said, okay. And then again, I had to do a text, and then finally I stopped. Now I will not get this person the time of my day. Information is very important to me, whether it's here or in my own life or in somebody's life that's asking me to do something. When you ask somebody for information and they say, hey, yeah, I'll give it to you, and you trust them because they're a person you can trust or you thought you could. So the next thing is, after the battle I had with that, Ghost has it. And I'm like, what's Ghost doing with it? So I said, you know what? I'm walking away. And I know you don't understand this, but when someone tells you that they're going to do something, and then there's something they say, and I say it to Ghost, and she doesn't do it. I know you guys will understand this because it's personal. But when someone tells you they're going to do something, just please make them do it. It shouldn't take 3 or 4 or 5 times to ask for something. You don't get it, or she calls and tells you something, and then you're expecting it again, and then Ghost gets it. People have really become very, very nerve-wracking. I don't know what they're going through, but they need to understand what other people are going through. In this world, I'm really realizing people are just not, they're just not them. I mean, I feel like they have fallen so far. that they've gotten so much anger in them. And that's not where we're supposed to be. And I've seen a lot of people turn away from this movement. And wow. And I know we're tired. I'm extremely tired. And you know, when you're getting caught up to another age this year, that's just, you know, you can feel that already. I feel like time is speeding again. But you know what? Just do yourself a favor. When someone says I will do it, make sure they do it. Because I'm tired of fighting with them. So that's why I'm walking away. When you tell me you're going to do something, and then you don't, and then you don't, and then I'm waiting, and I'm waiting. I don't know if you've ever been there before, but it's frustrating because it's very important you get that information. So then when Ghost got it, I said, I'm done. I have done everything on this project that I could possibly do. And yet she sends it to somebody else. Do you think I trust that person? No. I know you think that's silly, but you don't understand. It's personal to me. I just walk away. But you know what? I don't know how strong you are. If you've ever been through this, like I did, pray before you open your mouth. That's why I said I'm going to walk away. Because if I wanted to say what I wanted to say, she wouldn't have liked it. So don't do that. If you're angry and you're upset, you're confused, and you want to call that person out, don't do it. Because we were already wrong by getting angry. If the person doesn't do it and they don't send you something, just walk away. Don't say a word. Just walk away. There's another way to find out. You may not like it. They may not like it. Just go over their head and get the information. You'll get it. They got it to us. And that's what it takes to walk away. That's a shame. You know what? It's better to walk away than not to be godly. For God within us would not want us to be mean to anyone. About nothing. Oh, I've gotten angry before, but I've asked for forgiveness. Because God hears me. So that's what I was dealing with while I was off. And it wasn't pleasure. But I did hear some things, and I got videos on those things. And it's probably only a couple because that's all I needed. I said, can you verify this? She goes, go on to TikTok, Facebook, any platform you want to, and we already have that person saying it. I said, oh, wow, okay. So I said, how long has this been out? He goes, just went out. I said, oh, good. So I couldn't wait until I got off, and which was all day, by the way, just about all day. But anyway, we're here for a good time this morning. We're here. We just got started. Dancing, music, fun. Yes, yes, yes. You know, don't listen to everything they're telling you again. Yes, no information is coming out. The war is still being talked about. All that crap is still going on. But why? Did you ask yourself why? Well, maybe I can straighten some things up today. You think? I think some things I can. Anyway, I really pray you guys had a wonderful weekend and that you had a wonderful week left this morning, yesterday. You know, God tells us when we go to sleep to pray. When we wake up, pray. When you have a problem, pray. And I hope you did that. Because the more we pray and what we pray for might just come on everything and anything. And sometimes it doesn't. But finally it will on everything. And if it doesn't, He might have it a different way or a different thing, which might be much better. Now give that a thought. I am so glad you're here, family. It's so good to see you. I'm looking at you guys here. You're really small, but I can see some of you. But you know what? Everything is worth it no matter what we go through. It's going to be worth it. So that being said, let's stop the chat and let's go to prayer. Father, we come to you this morning. We thank you for the time that we have together. My mind is so scrambled at times that I sit back and I go, oh my gosh, I don't even understand anymore. And you go, shh, go look it up. Write it down. We always have to do that when we get tired. So I picked up a book, many books. I read them. I listened. And I'm sure everyone here is. And Father, I pray that they are not misguided again. Things are being talked about that just are not correct. And they're repeating things again. Father, please, we're asking for this to stop. Some are truth, some are half-truth, and some is not. So let us all discern once again what the truth is and what the truth isn't. Because I had to send them to find out the truth. And they said they didn't know. So guide us as we go. Be with the family here, our family that's watching and those to come. If they don't know you, I pray they do. Because we're growing into a time, once again, that truth is being another lie. I don't like calling it that. And that's what other ones are calling each other. The war is now amongst each other. And we don't want that. There are many wars going on, but we know a truth about those. And if we don't, we need to find out. So Father, this morning, whoever is listening, please guide them. Give them the gift of love and understanding, the love of truth. Because this world isn't what it is to be. If we only see it through your eyes, we'll see the beauty through it. And that's what we're asking this morning. And for all those who have unspoken prayers that have sent them to me, we ask you to guide them, to be with them, to help them search, and if it's health issues, to heal them. Rather, you're all the above. You're a teacher. You're our salvation. You're everything. And this family knows that. So I'm asking you to reach out to everyone, to give them discernment, to show them love and complacency. No. But guidance. Forgiveness is extremely, right now, the most important. When they're saying things that aren't true, is the most forgiveness we can give them. So give us the guidance this morning. Show everyone the love. And let them listen and hear every day and always. And let them give them a big, huge hug from me. Because I missed each and every one of them. Thank you, Father, for being with us. Not just today, but every day. Every second, every minute. And this we pray. And all we said was, Amen. And you hear us. Amen. Well, because I haven't been here, we're going to do some meet and greets, and then we're going to get started. Oh my goodness, I feel like I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. It's been a long time, it feels like, right? It has been a long time. Wow, my goodness. I don't even know what's happening. In some places, I really don't. I've been so busy. I can do this, and then I have to do that, and then I have to do this, and then I got to do that. But you know what? We are going to do a meet and greet. Whether people like it or not, we're going to say hello to each other because it's been that long. Earl says, good morning, family. Miss Lynn, Ghost, so glad to be home. Aw, thank you, Earl. Thank you for coming home. My face says, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Oh, look at those flowers. Tammy says, grand rising, beautiful family. Love and hugs to everyone. I will take them, Tammy. Trust me, I will take them. Jerry says, grand rising to each and every one from Dutchess County, upstate New York. Good morning. Oh, it's nice to see you guys missing each other. Good morning, High Vibe. Pamela says, peaceful and shiny Thursday. Rising, Lynn, Ghost, Mods, and Wickville. Good morning, Mods. Good morning, good morning, good morning. The sun is shining and it's 80 degrees. We got thunderstorms coming in tomorrow evening through this weekend. But that's okay. We haven't had rain, which I'm fine with. That's fine. Joshua says, good morning, Lynn and crew and family. Blessed be the Lord. Yes, ma'am. Rodney says, grand rising, everyone. Happy Thursday. Come on, Clarity Act. I know, right? I have no idea, Elena. I mean, who said that? Les says, hey, family, we're in sure need of rain. What's going What's the goal with no rain and no crops? I have no idea. Maybe it's the soil. Mimo says, Grand Rising to all and Wickfield family. Hope you all had a blessed few days. So happy to be with you all. We're happy you're here, honey. Thank you. Momo says, Grand Rising to all the Wickfield family. Hope you all had a blessed few days off. So happy to be with you all. You also, honey. Thank you. No, I didn't come on Tuesday. I had meetings. Leno says, hey, Lynn, ghosts, mods, and all. Glad to be back with everyone. Loves, blessing, and hugs to all. Thank you. Good morning. I know you missed the show. Terry says, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Yes, guys, they're starting to do the thumbs up again to count for the time that you're in here. So if you're only watching it for 10 minutes, I get no credit for it. I don't get paid for it, but I get credit for it. So please just do a thumbs up and like. I mean, that's they're going right back to that again. Teresa says, good morning, Lennon family. Checked in at 3:35. Please send a prayer for my grandson, Dylan. For who? Oh, for Duncan? He had an accident at daycare. He went to the ambulance at the hospital. I know nothing more. Oh my gosh, keep us posted, please. Melanie says number 44 today. God bless you, Linda, mods, and chat. Thank you for the flowers. Did I tell you that bush that was dying, I didn't know what kind it was? Well, they bloomed out. When that storm came through, it wiped them all out. I have no more flowers anywhere. Well, I'm not gonna play in the dirt this year. Chris says, Grand AM, shout out. No, I don't do that. And whoever I just said that to, I apologize to you. There's just certain things I don't want brought on here. So I do apologize for that. I am Starseed says blessings of love and light to all of you. Prayers and miracles for those who need them. Stay positive and live in the now. I agree 100%. Candace's Bonjour family just did 1.5 hours of weed whacking and did a mile run early, so I wouldn't miss Lynn's show. Great day to be alive. Wow, you got to work in, young lady. Lambkin says, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Donna for today says, good and gracious morning, Wick family. We have been given another day from our Father in heaven. Absolutely. Nutter Butter says, Grand Rising Doll, asking for prayers for my daughter, Ellie, having surgery this morning. Thank you. What time is she having surgery, Nutter Butter? Virginia says, good morning, Lynn, Ghost and family. Good morning. Maxine says, good morning. Good morning. Charlotte says, praise report, headaches and dizziness from confusion are less. Thank you for your prayers. You're welcome, but they will continue, Charlotte Mulfey. C. Pavilaki says, Grand Rising, Lynn and family. Finally, family back. Missing you on Tuesday, Lynn. I know, sweetheart, but I'm back on Tuesday and Thursday right now. I haven't even talked to him yet. It's been so busy. Brenda, so y'all have a blessed day. And Lynn, you gave us withdrawals. Missed you. Aw, thank you. I am Elena says, I'm sorry. Barbara says, good morning, everyone. Good morning. My Journey says, good morning. Good morning. Truancy says, good morning. Good morning. Joe Marie says, good morning, sunshines. Good morning, and thank you for that sunshine. Nancy says, good morning from West Virginia State. Please pray for healing for my nephew, Mike. Absolutely. Got it. Nancy says, okay, got you already. Hello, I got you already, sweetheart. Mike says, Grand Rising from Fort Lauderdale, staying positive and living in divine gratitude. Make it a great day, everyone. Sending a huge smile, prayers, and love. Thank you, Mike. Virginia says, Grand Rising, Lynn. Grand Rising, sweetheart. Belinda says, Grand Rising, everyone. A beautiful sunrise today and every day. Absolutely. I've been watching them. They are so beautiful. Even the sunsets are pretty. Judy says, good morning, family. Missed you all on Tuesday. Blessings for peace, harmony, and joy, and abundance. Let's dance. Let's always dance. I love dancing. Jessica says, prayers, Grand Rising. Happy Thursday. Praise him all day, every day. Amen. Rena says, good morning, Lynn and family. Sending love. Good morning. Daughter of the Most High says, good morning, Lynn and company. Was wondering about you. I announced it that I would not be there on Tuesday because of meetings. And then I put down there yesterday that I would be back, or was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday morning. I put back that I would be back on Thursday. Laura says, good morning, Mods. Yes. Bamba says, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Laura says, good morning. Good morning. KP says, Grand Rising, everyone. Grand Rising. Angelina says, happy Thursday, family. Sending love and prayers for all from Oregon. Thank you. I will take that. Purple One says, blessings all. Long time no see. Listen always to recordings. Off for the day with cousins. God bless. Thank you, sweetheart. Have a wonderful day. Richard says, I must have forgotten Lynn had other plans on Tuesday. Yes, sir. I announced that. Guy says, good morning, Lynn, Jim, Mods, and Chat family from a sunny South Carolina. Wishing you all a fantastic day. Missing you Tuesday. What happened? Let's share a hug and a smile. Love and hugs. Guy and Loretta. Good morning, guys. I did announce it. I don't think I saw you in here on Tuesday, but I did announce it. Beach Life, I really can't tell you what my meetings were about. Gloria says, good morning, Lynn, Jim, and Patriots. Good morning. No, if you're in my chat, then you're already in there. So that's me asking if something in there. So the other ones, you can't get in them. I mean, you can go in them, but with mine, you have to already been accepted in there. So if you've already been in, you're not in the bad one. Terry says, Grand Rising family, I missed you, Miss Lynn. And of course, all the family was missed. Glad you're back on this beautiful Thursday. Me too. Thank you. Eloise says, good morning, everyone. I'm here a little late. No, you're not. You're just fine. Lana says, Grand Rising. It was a grand morning at 5:14 on my 57-degree porch in Northwest Alabama. Yeah, it was nice here. It was 55, and it was very, very crisp, but it was nice. Nancy says, good morning from Cape Cod. Good morning. Sassfire says, good morning, family. Good morning. I can't see that this morning. No, that's just the way this person is. Cherry says, good morning, sweet family. Love and blessings to each of you. Have a thankful Thursday. Absolutely. Thank you. Viola says, good morning, family. Sitting in the ER waiting room. Why are you in the ER waiting room? Judy. Oh, good morning, Judy. Martin says, good morning. Good morning and evening, everyone. Good morning. Cosmic says, good morning, Lynn, Ghost Mods, and family. Good morning. Yvonne says, good morning, everyone. Good morning, sweetheart. Good morning, Golden Arrow. That's right. Say what you mean what you say. Lisa's Grand Rising family, please send prayers for my mom in the last days or hours as needed to be from pain and fear. Oh, sweetheart. Dinosaurus says, hello, family. Good morning. Good morning, sweetheart. Thank you, Golden Arrow. I appreciate you, sweetheart. Roxana says, good morning, family. Been busy with my ladies and outside working. Loved all. I was wondering where you were at. Village says, grand rising and abundance blessings for all upon your head and shoulders, and rise upon you to greet and bring you peace of golden arrow. Great to see you. Isn't that sweet? Guided Inner Light says, bonjour, gitmo atudi. I do hold my boundaries. I do. I really do. All right, so we're just about done here with the meet and greets. Hey, Melissa, she says, good morning, Lynn, Ghost Mods, and everyone. Missed you all. Praying for a blessed, wonderful day for all. You also, sweetheart. Thank you. Auto Popcorn says, good morning, Lynn. Been a while. Dark days ahead, but it will be worth it. It's biblical. Everything is biblical. Biblical's numbers goes with the Bible. Remember? Shmally Pop says, good morning, all. Much love and many prayers from Wisconsin. Amen. Bama says, my garden is giving me fresh tomatoes, peppers, and blueberries. So good. I bet they are. Lori says, grand rising family, could you please send prayers for me? I've been severe anxieties and can't seem to shake them. Absolutely. Cali Girl says, good morning, everyone, from sunny California. Good morning. Oh, when I was in the meeting, these guys were sitting together and they were just like chit-chatting, and then they would stand up and ask a question and whatever. And I thought, who are these guys? So all of a sudden they were talking about something, and I'm looking down at them, and I'm like, who are they? And they kept asking these questions that I absolutely didn't understand what they were asking. And so I was looking over at the people that were guiding the meeting, and I was waiting for an answer, and either I missed it or they didn't know it. But all of a sudden he comes up with, he goes, and I need the pineapples. And you know what I just prayed about that morning? To let me be able to show the pineapples. That was so weird. I was telling the girl that was on there, I said, you know what? I said, never mind. I said, you know about my pineapple? She goes, yeah, because I thought that was strange too. And I said, you know what though? I just prayed about it. She goes, really? You think it's going to happen? I go, I don't know. I go, but I asked for a sign of the pineapples. And I said, he said it. But so I asked to show it. So I don't know, but that's a sign. So that was kind of cool. One, two, three, four says, grand rising to all. It's been a while since I actually got to listen, and I've been catching every replay. Thanks, Lynn, for all you do. It's going to be another triple digit here in Arizona. Oh my. You know, there's hot and then there's hot. Honey, just stay cool somehow. Good morning, Earl. Dave's not here. Says, hi, Lynn. It's been a long week waiting for you to come back, but it's always worth it. The wait. Hi to you all, Wick Warriors. I believe the end of the so-called movie is about to near the end. Thank God. Trisha says, good morning from South Texas. We are still getting some much needed rain all over Texas. Good for you. Mega Girl says, good morning, family. Missed you all. And blessings to all. Blessings to you, sweetie. Mama Bear says, good morning. I made it. Working, but listening. Good morning, sweetheart. I have 4 pineapples in my display, and I have 2 that I haven't brought out yet, but I'm going to bring them out because something's telling me it's in the air. There's just too many. You walk in the store and the pineapples are right there. Normally, if we even have any, they're in the back. So it's like, okay, I'm going to bring them all out. So maybe that will help bring this thing forward. Oh my goodness. All right, let's get started this morning. Let me ask you, family, do you want to pray for those that need prayer this morning before we get started? Or do you want to do it after? This is up to you. Oh, I love pineapples, Virginia. I absolutely love them. We have surgeries going on. We have a hospital. Somebody's in the hospital. Yeah, I think we should too. All right, let's stop the chat and let's pray for these people, please. They are our family. Father, we come to you once again this morning, and we're lifting these people up on high, whether they're children, whether they're a woman or a man, but they're our family. Father, we're asking this morning, Mike, who needs healing, Father, that you touch his body and you whisper to him, you are healed. I have the grace to give this to you, and I lay my hand upon you. My Father will flutter to each and every one of you, and that too, they should be healed. Father, we want to pray for Hayla, who's also in a lot of pain. Father, we also ask that you do the same, that you give her light at the end of the tunnel. We want to pray for Teresa's grandson, who just got rushed to the hospital and is unknown what is wrong. But Father, we ask that you cradle him, for he's such a joy. Children are so precious. Father, give him a kiss. Let him feel it on his forehead or cheek, and heal him, and not let him hurt, and let the boo-boo be gone. Father, we're also asking for Nutter Butter's granddaughter, that her surgery this morning, that you guide the doctor's hands, that she feels nothing. And when she's awake, don't let her be scared. Let the healing begin, and let her be able to speak, and let her know that you are with her, as we asked before. We want to pray for Lee's mom. Father, she is struggling and she's afraid. She is in pain and they're telling her she's dying. Father, wherever you decide, we will walk with her hand by hand. But be with the family. Let them pray for her, over her, and with her. Father, let it be peaceful. And may it be joyous. May she know you if she doesn't. So I'm asking you, if she doesn't, to whisper in her ear, I'm here. And you're coming home to me. And I will keep you safe, and life will be wonderful. Father, we also want to pray for Lori, who's having extreme anxieties. Father, man created those too, because that's worry. That's stress. Father, we're asking you, for I know what they are. That no medication to be taken, because once they are, you're addicted. But to pray and fly holistic. And if that don't work, then pray even more. And find the music and the vibrations and stay in there. Because that's the greatest healing. Is between the two of you. You go hand in hand. Father, we also again want to pray for those that are unspoken. Because they may not be here. They may be somewhere else. And they too still are part of our family. So Father, just listen to them, answer them, guide them, or give them. And this we pray as a family. In your name, we all said amen. All right. No, don't forget about those people. We've got to move on. We keep them in our prayers always. And all the prayers do go to the prayer warriors. All you have to do is tell me that I can stop or let down, but I suggest that they stay on for a while. We always need the prayers to keep going. And then when everything seems to calm down, then we can stop. But always say prayers to him about your life, about your love, and who he is to you. So let's get started this morning. Now, you may not like some things I'm going to tell you, but like I said, some things I'm not sure is or isn't. So I'm right there with you. So I'm going to rely on you to tell me. And then if you're not sure, I will make sure I go look it up somewhere. And I'm sure I can find it. I just didn't have time. It's been a really crazy. Actually, it started being crazy on Friday. So I'm going to play this. I'm going to go silent.
Night, we saw Iran attack U.S. military bases all throughout the Middle East in Bahrain, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia. I shared with you live the footage as it was unfolding last night. And this morning, we're seeing the aftermath and video footage coming out from the mainstream media. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the articles and video footage so that way you can see the latest for yourself here. Now, Iran strikes Kuwait's main airport and kills one as the ceasefire is tested yet again. And let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think that we are closer than ever before to an all-out war yet again with Iran? We heard the ceasefire was in place. This morning, I'm seeing reports coming out that people are saying that it is about to erupt. Iran's escalation against the Gulf states raises concerns that it feels safe attacking neighbors, according to analysis. Iran claims that this is conducted in response to a series of U.S. military attacks, but they hit all throughout the Middle Eastern region last night. And Netanyahu warns Iran is playing with fire after the attacks on Kuwait and Bahrain. And again, you can see all of these coming out this morning after we saw all of those overnight attacks unfold. Now, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Where do we go from here? What would you do if you were in Donald Trump's shoes? We saw a massive display put forward last night by Iran, attacking an assortment of different military bases all throughout the Middle East. Now, keep in mind, we heard that none of the targets hit. There were no U.S. military bases that were hit by missiles. All were intercepted. However, this is a very aggressive stance by Iran, and Iran is claiming to its media that it actually hit several U.S. bases. But we're hearing that the United States is letting people know, don't listen to that. That is false. But what would you do? Would you strike back? Would you pause for diplomacy? What would be the path forward that you would take? Let me know your thoughts. Now, what's very interesting is that we are still sort of waiting here, wondering what we're going to be seeing from the Trump administration as a result of what unfolded overnight. Let me know. What do you think? But you guys, we're going to dive right in. I've got a ton of video footage. We're going to be looking at some video footage of the actual attacks that unfolded last night, so that way you can see it for yourself. If you appreciate the live feeds, please take a second, hit the thumbs up like button for me. If this is your first time here, hit subscribe. And as you know, here on the channel, I cite all of the sources. So the articles I'm going to be referencing are linked in the description below, along with additional resources as well. People have been asking me, Steve, I want to take advantage of this. I know that markets shift during times of war. And if that's you, on the screen is a QR code to open up an account with Public. It's fast, it's easy, it's simple. You can start, literally have people point their phone at the screen while we're live and open up an account in just a couple of minutes and start investing. Or if you're watching on your phone, there's also a link down below to start investing with Public, because I've had so many people say in the past, I knew things were going to shift. I didn't take advantage of it, and things unfolded just like I thought, and I missed out on a ton of money on investing. If you don't want that to happen again, consider opening an account with Public. But with that being said, you guys, let's take a look at some of the video footage so I can get you caught up on the latest as to what unfolded overnight with those attacks. Let's go ahead and take a look.
You're watching live now from Fox. Welcome back. We are following some breaking news as it relates to Iran. Fox News just putting this out here, reporting from Trey Yingst, saying breaking, at least one person has been killed and more than 60 have been wounded after Iran launched a barrage of missiles and drones at Kuwait and Bahrain overnight. CENTCOM says an additional wave of drones attempting to attack U.S. forces in Kuwait were downed and that no American personnel or assets were harmed. The escalation comes as the Trump administration continues nuclear talks with Iran, while maintaining that sanctions relief will depend on Tehran agreeing to strict limits on its nuclear program. So once again, that reporting just coming in here from Fox's Trey Yingst. But I also want to put this up on your screen. This is some video released this morning by Iran's military of that missile and drone launch. A bit about what we know about this. Kuwait briefly shut its main airport today after Iranian drones heavily damaged a passenger terminal building, killing one person, wounding dozens, which is the latest in back and forth attacks by Tehran and Washington that have tested a fragile ceasefire. Semi-official Iranian news agencies have said Tehran had stopped communicating with mediators about extending the ceasefire in the war with the U.S. and Israel. A regional official saying Iran wanted a separate ceasefire in Lebanon enforced before returning to talks. President Trump asserted that negotiations continued. But these talks have dragged on for weeks, and exchanges of strikes in the Gulf region and Israel's broadening war with the Iranian-backed Hezbollah and Lebanon.
Okay, so it sounds like we're going to maybe do a full-blown something here, and this was talked about in one of my meetings. So I'm not going to say any more. We're going to go into more so you guys kind of get a full picture of something here. Is there distractions? Yes, but they're also telling you something throughout some of these videos. So I'm going to let you dock it right there and understand that Kuwait's name was mentioned. What happened in Kuwait? What did Kuwait do for the people? But we didn't know about it. Or did we know about any of them? Because the baddies kept them from us. So let's listen. All right, so let's move on. We already know that. But here's another perspective. Let me see where we're at here. So this one is also from Fox News. See, you have to compare what they're talking about. Yes, RV. So you have to compare what they're talking about. Are they all lining up or are they divided once again? So let's see what they're doing.
Talks with Iran are not like talks with Switzerland, okay? They're very different. They have agreed to negotiate aspects of their nuclear program that just a month ago, or just a year ago, they were refusing to even mention, much less enter into discussions about. That is not a guarantee that ultimately it will lead to a deal. I think there are indications out there that he is increasingly engaging at some level, although all of his communications have been in writing and through intermediaries.
He said he means the supreme leader who's been brutally defiled. In just a few hours, Secretary of State Marco Rubio heading back to the Hill for another day of testimony on the Iran war. After CENTCOM confirms the U.S. carried out another round of self-defense strikes against Iran as the shaky ceasefire remains in the balance. Our next guest served under President Trump's National Security Council and was the principal architect of the Abraham Accords. Army combat vet Robert Greenway joins us now. Robert, the talks are frustrating. Why do you think they're so frustrating with Iran? Obviously, it's not Switzerland, but there's an additional challenge, isn't there?
Yeah, it's good to be with you, Brian. There is an additional challenge because of the attacks that have taken place and the circumstances after now several months of conflict with Israel and the United States. It's not clear anyone's in charge in Iran. I think the IRGC are exercising limited control over parts of their organization, but the civil side, I think, is broken down. As a result, it's incredibly complicated to deal with Iran under normal conditions. These are certainly not normal. It's not clear that anyone is sufficiently representing the Iranian position or can enforce the terms of an agreement if one is reached.
So we're looking now, Iran's cadence is this. We try to hit American resources. That doesn't work. We try to break the blockade. It's not effective. So we hit the Gulf states. And of course, 63 hurt in Kuwait at the airport. They actually went for our bases in Kuwait. We had some people injured at our bases. And now we have the Gulf states pressuring us outside the UAE not to take action. How does that figure into whether we do take action, knowing that they're pushing us seemingly not to take action?
Yeah, these actions, and it's easy to lose count of the number of missile and drone strikes that Iran has taken against commercial and civil shipping and infrastructure, including the international airport terminal in Kuwait last night. It's unclear that they're serious about negotiations at all, nor would they be if we were not negotiating. So if this is what they're like while we're trying to come to an agreement not to shoot at each other, it's not clear that that's going to last. At the same time, you've also got an IRGC officer in the Southern District of New York, a couple blocks from you, who's currently being tried for actively plotting the assassination of the president's daughter. And so it doesn't seem that this is a trustworthy organization that currently.
Okay, what I want you to hear is Kuwait is again being mentioned. They're not in war, but Kuwait is being hit. So, do you think Kuwait is going to pick up its speed and say, now we're going to go after Iran because they just got us? Again, it's all lining up. Scare event, Israel for last then? That's good, Mega Girl. All right, so let's switch gears here. Now, this is a congresswoman who I have seen around. So let's listen to her.
Hostilities in Iran. That is a very good vote. I'm just coming out of the House. We took a vote, 215 to 208. The vote was a resolution to require the president to remove the armed forces from the hostilities in Iran. That is a very good vote. I'm just coming.
Okay, now this was done This was done yesterday. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to listen from the very beginning. It's real fast, but listen from the very beginning what she says. I'm going to turn it up so you guys can listen to this. So let me back it up here. I hope I can grab it. Oh, shoot. I may not be able to. They're not going. They're blocking me. Let me see if I can do this. Hold on. I'm going to run this through so I can get some clarity on here.
Around. That is a very good vote. I'm just coming out of the House. We took a vote, 215 to 208. The vote was a resolution.
Okay, so I can't grab it fast enough, but what she said was we're playing a role, and then she went right into it. Now, what would they be playing a role for? I'm going to post this down in Telegram. See if you can catch it when that video comes on. She says, we're playing a role, and went right into it. See, everything you're seeing is just optics. They're just, and we got people really believing all of this now. I mean, more than ever. How many times you got to tell them it's not? All right, then this came out this morning.
Stop the Iran war. It's the first time in a long time that Republicans have found the courage to stand up to Trump and stand for the American people and for our troops and bring an end to this debacle in the Middle East. It took a lot of arm twisting, a lot of calls for courage to just do the right thing. It's not like Republicans don't understand what's going on. They ask tough questions behind the scenes. Today, a handful of them finally had the courage to make the right vote in public. The House voted to stop the Iran war. It's the first time in a long time that Republicans have found the courage to stand up to Trump and stand for the American people and for our troops and bring an end to this debacle in the Middle East. It took a lot of arm twisting, a lot of calls for courage to just do the right thing. It's not like Republicans don't understand what's going on. They ask tough questions behind the scenes. Today, a handful of them finally had the courage to make the right vote in public.
– Okay, so this is where I need help at. Is this, has it ended? Has anybody else heard this? Because why are all the other countries that they're naming not going after, especially Kuwait? Kuwait don't stand up for crap. They just go after you when you start doing that. They warn you and then they go after you. Or did he already go there? Maybe he already went there? Let's see if they bomb him. Let's see if they take him down. Let's see if they go after him at all. I mean, they say it one more time. That means they're going to do it. Now, I have not heard them say anything about Kuwait until that video. What's your thoughts? This is interesting. Oh, what did I do? Did something wrong. Okay, so let's go on. Let's move on to something else. All right, so one, I want to pay respects and thank Holly and her guest, which you know the other person. for allowing me to use this. We're not going to play the whole thing because it's too long, but he is talking about something that I want to go over with you. And I don't normally watch anybody, but I was delayed a little bit, so I kind of just got on the phone and said, okay, well, let's go listen to somebody. So I've only got to listen to like 3 or 4 of them. But that was an interesting conversation. Now, if you want to go watch it, you can go over there and see it. She's on YouTube. I am going to go silent for this one because I do want you to listen. But I do thank them for this.
Hi, everybody. I am Holly Celiano, and I have John Michael Chambers back. He's been a guest on this show before. So welcome, John. It's a pleasure to have you.
Nice to see you, Holly. Thank you. It's good to be here again.
Thank you. So I know you interview a lot of guests from many different fields and genre of information. And from what you could tell this audience, what everybody wants to know, when are we going to really start to see something substantial happen? Because we hear a lot of talk of the EBS is going to happen, 10 Days of Darkness. We're going to have a great 4th of July. Everything's going to be done by 4th of July. We're now heading into June. So let's start off with that.
Sure. Well, thank you. I jotted down the key elements there because I'd like to address each one. You're right. You are on the pulse, Holly, of what the majority of, we'll call our movement, the various degrees of the awakened, and some of the target audience that's poking around right now. And a lot of them are. And thank you. We love you. Thank you for looking around. We're trying to help you. Here's the bottom line. This is, and again, the disclaimer, and you've really stated it already, from the guests that I interview, right? That's where I get my data from, folks. Don't look at me as the Wano Savin guru of the movement. I produce content and shows, but I do interview, by and large, military, retired, of course, intelligence, and economic experts with credentials. Not all, but most of my guests, or certainly 75% or more of them. And it's from there I can answer your questions. Plus my own, that is my research. I do my research before I interview. Thus, I have data, and then I interview, and then I have more data. So I'd like to bring that clarity to your viewers with that as the disclaimer. We'll start with the EBS. The EBS, from my conclusion, and if anyone's interested in what my level of confidence is in my conclusion, is my level of confidence is as darn near close to a 10 as you can possibly get on a scale of 1 to 10. So having said that, the EBS conclusively, from all the military and intelligence people I speak with and the research I've done on my own, is it's going to happen. So let's start there. When? Well, the answer is who knows, but my answer is, again, based on the collective content I have, while some folks, even some of my high-powered guests that I love, and by the way, all of us, including Juan, we're not always right about every single thing, unless they get the direct memo from the very high places, from President Trump and in that space. We only know what we know, right? It's a fluid war. But having said that, yeah, there will be an EBS. Some folks say, again, people I have enormous respect for, that it'll happen on or before July 4th. I come to the conclusion that's not going to happen. And that's not to discredit any one guest. That's why the disclaimer is there. we're 95% accurate on things. About the EBS, for my conclusion is it is a foregone conclusion that we will have that, and that comes from retired generals, Lieutenant Colonels Juan O'Savin, and many, many others. And of course, all the references from Q and so forth and so on. But the timing, I was stating that some folks think it will be in June or July. While it could be, I'm inclined to say it's not going to be, and especially after the meeting I just had with Juan O'Savin in Bangkok yesterday, face to face. We had a 9-hour marathon.
Wow.
We got up once to use the facilities, and the rest of it was a discussion leading into the morning for breakfast before I had to fly back to Chiang Mai. Juan's of the view that it's not going to occur on June or July. In fact, long after that, perhaps, keyword, perhaps later towards the fall, September, October, November is somewhere in that space. And he explained why. As far as arrests, people are, pardon me, folks, people are waiting for the big arrests and all the big activities. So am I. We all are. And let's differentiate. There's been a lot of arrests. I mean, look, just go to aliens.gov and just take a look at the illegal alien arrests and what's the word? Removing them from the country. But and there's been all kinds of other arrests. If you look in the right places, there's been a lot going on. We've got Comey, of course, as our biggest name. Juan and others feel Brennan would be next, and that makes all the sense in the world, and the rest of that clan to follow. It happens in military time. So in terms of the big arrests, my conclusion is we probably won't see anything bigger than Comey before July 4th. That's my walk away. Will it happen? Yes, big time. Everyone, no one gets away. They're all going down. When? When it happens. When, in my opinion? This year. All right, next is July 4th. Well, we kind of talked a bit about that date. What will the president be announcing? What will be his speech, etc., besides the fanfare of celebration? Well, we'll all wait and see. I don't know. But as far as the currency goes, there's another important discussion regarding June and July. Again, I have some guests that are pretty darn convinced, and it's okay, that we will have that Treasury-backed dollar that we've seen displayed, the March 26th release from the Treasury Department and so forth. Again, and I said this pre-talking with Juan yesterday, even though my guests on air stated they believe it'll happen as part of June or as late as July 4th. I'm going to say, and I said that then, even on my live Global Financial Research show, I said, I sure hope so. I'm not certain it will. And I can sit here today, especially after my meeting with Juan, my doubts were well-founded, providing Juan is right. And that is,
All right. Do you know why I stopped it? All the name I kept hearing was Juan, 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 Juan. And also, there's another one that was brought up previously, which was gene decode. If you haven't learned about these two, you may want to really pay attention. I never watched 107 but one time. I said he's fake as ever anybody could be. And I'll say that straight out. He's not a Kennedy. He's an actor. The reason I didn't go on or have Gene Decode come in is because somebody got a hold of me and said, no. And I said, what? When I told you I got a gut punch, that was one of them. Some of the baddies, I don't know which ones, are now playing parts. They're still playing them. I don't know when they're going to take them out. But I got reminded also in the meeting, understand who you're listening to. They're not wearing masks. It's heavy coronalin liquid that they're putting on, and it spreads through their face and their neck so that you can't see the gaps or their Adam's apple to tell whether or not they're a man or a woman. Well, that was just great. I think everybody got an uproar on that one, because now we can't tell which ones are the good ones and which ones are the bad ones if we don't already know. So now I don't understand why they're doing that. And she said they didn't understand either, but that's what they were told, and they do not ask questions. You're going to be hearing more and more that is coming awake about all of this. And I hope you guys know all this, because I can't say things to you, but I will let you listen. And that's all I can do, is because I was told once again, stop telling. I said, well, I'll stop telling that, but I'm not going to stop with the truth. Now, if I don't know who they are when they're showing a video, then I'm not going to show it. If they say something, then I might do a comparison, but that's it. It's sad that we've come this far and they still can't get their crap together. There's just things I sometimes just wonder why this is all happening. Why it's taking so far for people not to see the truth and then take it away. But it's coming. All right, let's continue. Now, I will be listening in on this one. I will be stopping it and back and forth. Some of you probably already heard this, but you know what? It doesn't matter. I want to make you a refresher course. This was done yesterday.
Sue, how are you?
I'm very good. How about you?
Excellent.
I have a question about the $100 trillion ZIM bond.
Yes.
My question is, will the payout rate be solely determined by how much ZIM we have, how long we agree to leave the proceeds in the bank before receiving the funds, and also the length of payout we agree to?
Wow. You go back to the person who told you all of that and ask them to substantiate it. You do that.
What is your I will.
My understanding is that the 100-team note is a bond.
Yes.
It will go. It will. Okay, so it will be transferred once the adjustment's made. Now, let me make this clear. Actually, TBJ, I'm going to say this. Let's take it one step back. The adjustments are going to be made. They delete the zeros.
Okay, I stopped it. Number one, you cannot delete the zeros, especially from a bond. It's a bond. It means it is legal tender of a bond. Now, whether or not you can go when the bonds go, they're done in groups. They did not say which groups if the Zim bond is in a group? I keep trying to ask that question and nobody asks me because it is a bond and she kept saying a bond. So I don't know. She's not saying anything except she doesn't understand that information. I have said this over and over and over. You cannot remove zeros from a bond. You cannot remove zeros from the currency. Can they be adjusted? Yes, but you cannot remove. Why this disinformation? And this was put out a day ago. Why this information is not registering with people is unbelievable. And Trump, I got a video on that too. Do you want us to keep listening to this? Let's listen for a few minutes.
However many zeros. Can I just get you to mute yourself, honey, because there's echoing in the background. But you stay right there, and you can ask any more questions in a minute, hun. So what happens there is that the 100T note, adjustments will be made according to per country, and adjustments will be made according to
she put this out yesterday.
Revaluation in each country due to the fact that every country's currency will be revalued at the same time. So adjustments will be first made.
Okay, so I don't know if you guys can read this or not. This is Mayhem Mail News. Mayhem Mail News, May 9/10. So this was done in 2010, and she's still putting it out there. Why would you ever do that, being coming this far? Somebody, I don't get this. This is everywhere. Even Ghost got it. And I don't even subscribe to them. And I had it. What? So why are they pushing this? Guys, the currencies are the currencies. Whatever you have, and I did not see that they're going to drop the zeros. They're not talking about it again. They haven't mentioned it again. Not even Iran, nobody, no Iraq, none of them. Is she still around? I know she was a few years ago. But she was giving awful information then. But then she got a little bit better, and then I got off and I was on my own way. So I don't even know if she's around or not. But why is she recycling this crap again? You know, I'm still hearing the other thing from the other person that, you know, you're going to walk through the doors and you're going to either go to hell or you're going to pick the wrong door and you're going to this, that, whatever. That one's still out there. I mean, they're all out there. Just bypass them. Just bypass them. This is terrible. Now, this guy, I like.
Countries that have been undervalued will be coming up. When we talk about foreign currencies, we already know prophetic words that the US dollar is going to devalue. At the same time, we believe prophetic words that the Iraqi dinar is going to revalue. So what is happening? These currencies that have been overvalued in a way are coming down while the undervalued currencies are coming up.
As far as the currency devaluations, I've been complaining about that for a long time. And I believe that we will all eventually, and probably very much sooner than a lot of people understand or think, we will be all at a level playing field.
Now, if you extrapolate that to a more macro picture, You look at those countries that the currencies are connected to, and these countries that have been undervalued will be coming up. When we talk about foreign currencies,
Now, didn't Trump just say we would be on an even playing field? Right? Now, understand what I'm going to say to you. That means all of them are going to be the same. They may not be using the same currency, but all the currencies will be equal to each other. But you can revalue those currencies, which they will, and they will be on the Forex. So this guy explained it 100%. So remember this video, because I'm telling you, yes, it's 1-to-1 on an even playing field, but they revalue in every country. I got so many people after last time we talked about this. Well, then that ain't right. Len, that ain't right. Well, maybe I explained it wrong. And if I am, I'm sorry. If I'm not explaining something right, please tell me. Len, we don't know what you're saying here. And there's sometimes I can't explain it because I just look at it and go, what? And I have nobody to go to because either they're not there, they're closed, or they're not answering me. All right, so let's talk about the Clarity Act. That Clarity Act is very important. And no, it is not bad. It is not the evil. I have done a lot of research, talked to a lot of people. None of them has said anything negative about any of it. So this is going to be a quick thing here. What happens to the crypto if the Clarity Act becomes law in July? Well, I got news for you. It's coming to this month. So the Clarity Act cleared the Senate Banking Committee on May 14th. Yes, but still needs 60 votes to clear a Senate filibuster reconciliation with the House as a presidential signature. The White House is targeting a July 4th deadline for the bill to become law, and a poly market puts the odds of passage in 2026 at 59%. Yes, it will pass this month. This is June. It's got to be done before 4th of July. This is every major crypto asset, including Bitcoin, crypto BTC, Ethereum, crypto ETH, XRP crypto, XRP, and Solana crypto SOL will trade differently the moment President Trump signs the bill. Here is what changes the Clarity Act becomes law by July. Okay, so if you're holding, now you can have this in Lobster. If you have BTC, it's in Lobster. If you have Ethereum, ETH is in Lobster. If you have XRP, it's in Lobster. If you have Solana, SOL is in Lobster. A lot of the ones right now are going to be switching away from the ones that are in Lobster. That's why I was showing you the videos about the ones that are 1 penny to purchase. Those are all by Trump, backed by Trump's association with them. And they also backed by some kind of a backing, which I have not found out yet. But they are backed. He said it, but I couldn't remember what he said. So trust the ones that you believe are true. And I'm telling you right now, you need to be buying the ones that are for 1 penny. But the ones that are in the 1 penny is not in Lobster. I only found 2 that was in lobster, and I don't know which one they are. So I got to go back and find them. What's going on here? Oh, it's a video. Okay. So I can't, and I don't know what's happening there. Let's get up here and get out of it. Okay. All right. So let me give you some good news right now. Now, this guy's going to show you some good news, and I was so happy for him.
I'm pretty excited today. So last night, after I made my last video, I got a letter in the mail from the IRS. So I'm pretty excited. I think this is because of all of our TikTok views, and I think we finally were heard loud and clear, that this is finally my 2025 economic income tax, whatever you want to call it, government refund stimulus check that we've all been waiting for 2025 for all the money they've wasted and the fraud and the embezzlement and the trillions of dollars pissed away. Here we go. I'm going to read this together because I want you all to hear what I got. This is pretty exciting. Dear valued U.S. taxpayer, on behalf of the federal government and the IRS, we want to commend you on all your hard work and your fierce dedication. We here at the IRS hear your pleas, and our hearts are with you. I'm pretty excited today.
Okay. I was actually able to DM him because he made the video too short. So I asked him, why was the video so short? You cut yourself off. He says, number one, I really don't know how to make them that long. He goes, but I think he said his sister. He said, my sister said, don't tell him the amount, and you're misleading in the beginning. So I said, well, what were you misleading? He said, well, I don't know if I could tell you. And I said, you can tell me. I said, there's no secrets about what's going on. He says, okay, well, here goes. He said, when I was reading the letter, it gave me the amount. And he goes, but I was writing the letters to them and it started in 25. I said, okay. And he said, there was a bunch of us that did it in 25. He said, and we kept on them and kept on them because we needed money. And I said, I get it. He says, well, he goes, so I get this check, and he goes, I fell to the ground. I said, that much, huh? He says, yeah. He goes, but here, let me tell you this. He said, this is all the money from the taxes that were stolen from the IRS. I said, really? Well, I'd have fell to my knees too. Oh my God. I'm like, what? I mean, I was sitting there just like in amaze going, so are these coming out first? So he goes, may I tell you the amount? I said, I'd rather you not. I says, you're exposing yourself if you're trying to do these TikToks. I said, I don't think so. And I says, I will tell him that it was an amount that was what it was supposed to be. They don't know your name, so don't worry about it. He said, okay, thank you so much. He goes, I'm so excited. I can't believe it. He started crying, and I felt so happy for him. Oh my gosh, he was such a nice person. And he was so scared. He says, my hands are shaking, and you could hear the phone, like the cord. He's got a cord on his phone, or either he was charging it. I don't know. But he was just so delightful. Anyway, do you think that they're releasing the taxes that they have stolen back to we the people? Sure sounds like it. I can't tell you the amount, but it sure sounds like it. And he did show me. I put him on flip phone where you can see the screen from each other. So I could see his check. And I went, He's such a nice person, though. He says, I don't make many videos. He goes, just once in a while. He goes, I didn't even want to make this one. He goes, but my sister kept saying, you got to tell them. You got to tell them. But just be quiet. Make it up different way. So I agree. I think the amount, he shouldn't said the amount, and he should have done it a different way. So, wow, that was just so powerful. I actually had tears in my eyes. And he said everybody in his group got one. Whoa. So that's what I'm saying. You think that's the first thing that's going to come out? Because did you hear what it came from the government and the IRS? And now, if you're not happy with that one, I don't know what else I can tell you. I love it when I find somebody and when I can DM and they answer me back. And then they're pleasant about a conversation I want to have with them. And then he was just so kind. And then he says, here, I can show it to you as long as you don't tell anybody. I was like, no, I'd rather not. And I said, well, so then when I turned it around and I looked at it, I said, holy crap. But I didn't say that to him, though. Just think about it. I know I'm smiling ear to ear when I saw it. I went, whoa. See, I told you things might come out in a different way. And that's totally different. So I wanted to give him a big hug. I really did. So what were your thoughts? No zeros are being removed from anything. Nothing. No, it was a check. So yes, he has to take it to the bank. He can do whatever he wants to do with it. Okay, I don't know if I have this one or not. Let me see. Oh, no, it's not, because it was in a meeting. Okay, so in the meeting, one of the people said to them, will we still have real money? And they said, what do you mean by real money? And he says, well, we got the fiat dollar and we got the new money coming out. And they said, yes. And he said, wait, why? Well, I knew the answer to that. So they looked at me and they said, you want to answer that? And I said, sure. I said, well, you see, I said, do you remember when Nixon took us off the gold-back standard? He said, yes. I said, but do you remember when they put you on? And you remember the dollar bill or the money that has the blue stripe in it? I said, you remember when they did that? He says, yes. I said, how do you remember that? He goes, well, I just got it in my hand. I says, oh, then you don't remember that. I says, you know what? There is gold in it. Truly 100% gold. And it's backed all right. I don't know if I told you guys this or not. And he says, well, what do you mean? So he took out of his wallet and he goes, I only have 100. And I says, that's on there. And he says, where? And I says, an inkwell, the feather, stars, even on the back. He goes, wow, I never knew that. I said, but wait. And the lady looks up at me and she's smiling and she goes, go ahead. I said, well, I found out that it's not the good money, that it was gold back, but it's gold back by the baddies to fool us. So that is fiat money, completely 100%. And they stole the gold. Then they got it back. And he says, the good guys or the bad guys? I said, the good guys. Do you not know all this stuff? And he says, no. And I said, when did you start this? And he said, a couple of years ago. And I go, and you don't know this? And she said, you don't know this? So there will be two currencies going at the same time. When the first one came, we had the fiat money still. Then you got that strip, only the strip bar. That had a security code in it. Okay. Then you got the gold to make it gold back. But it wasn't from our good government. It was from the bad government. But you did have gold backed. Now, Trump is going to be bringing out the $100 bills first. I've seen them, but I'm not quite sure that's them. Guys, you can still cash a check. It doesn't matter right now. You're still in the old system. So they can't do anything against you because you got a check back. Now, the amount of money that they're going to add, that he has on that check, yeah, they're probably going to hold it for a couple of days. They might give them a little bit, but yeah, that type of a check is going to have to be on a hold because that's the way they always did it. Not unless he's gone on the system, but I don't think so since he doesn't know much. So, and I didn't have time to sit there and tell him everything. But anyway, I really do believe something is starting here. Now, when everybody gets it, again, we don't know. It could be before July 4th. It could be after. I don't know. But it's interesting that he started up in July in 25, or they did, and they're just now getting it back. I'm happy for him. All right, so we're going to unfortunately go back to what I was telling you earlier. Now, I'm not going to play all these, but I want you to listen so you get grounded in what's really happening. I'm going to have to turn my mic up on these. Well, no, I won't. Here, I could do this. Okay, so let's go. This is 107 is Sheila Holmes, but you're also seeing there Jaco.
That he once accomplished during his presidency and to be remembered for accomplishing, not just for America.
Wait a minute. Is this the beginning? Hold on a minute. You see. Okay, so there's Sheila Holmes. So now she's addressing Juan. Then Gene Decode steps in.
Has built up to where we are now to prove to the world that the control that we have been under has been broken.
Trump has two primary things that he once accomplished during his presidency and to be remembered for accomplishing, not just for America, but for the world. Honest elections and honest money. And they actually go in that sequence, and everybody needs to brace themselves. In the U.S., 85% of the bond fraud that's going on in the U.S., it's all tied to schools, school districts. And that bond fraud is so extensive that at a bare ass minimum, you'll lose 600 banks. You have an existential crisis. It's an L event. It's an extinction level event within the monetary community that we're right on the brink of. The largest country in the world is still the British Commonwealth. They act like a union of states at some level with the crown operating at the top. And so we're still fighting the Revolutionary War.
They've been in charge, control over Canada and Australia and New Zealand and wanted Greenland. They sent their troops over, and then they got a phone call and they had an hour to depart because you either depart or we're going to do 100% tariffs.
It's all pre-planned. Albert Pike was talking about it before World War I, and he outlined World War II and the Third World, which is basically against the Zionists and the Muslims.
Why is Trump doing what he's doing in Iran first and Venezuela before that and some of the other actions? Because this is a globalist attack by nation states across the world on the U.S. election. What Trump has done, moving towards the mother of all conflicts over election fraud and financial fraud, is he's taking away the ability to distract America and the world with some kind of Iran-led attack and terrorism, some type of Venezuelan-led attack and terrorism.
So the financial connections that we're talking about, you have Iran's newly named Supreme Leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, has been secretly building a property and financial empire worth over 100 million pounds across the United Kingdom, Europe, and the Gulf. And King Charles, as a lot of people are saying, when he was Prince Charles, converted to Islam. I think we're starting to see that the financial connections are deep between England and Iran and all these other countries that are giving us some problems, which Trump is cleaning up. I think we're going to see, Juan, you have really been focused on Tina Peters. I really think she's about to be released. We've had the governor of Colorado say he feels bad because there was a Democrat that was convicted of the same thing and she got off light. And so he feels really bad about that. So he's looking at letting Tina Peters off.
America has been bankrupted, and you're about to have a existential life and death experience for America in a way that it defies almost explanation. This is a big deal.
Yeah, it's like a second revolution like we've been talking about. This is all pre-planned.
We can go back to factory settings. And there was a lot of thought that went into this on how elections are conducted and held. And we're coming up on, here's why this doesn't work. Here's where it is a problem. At some point, return to factory settings. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen.
Brilliant. Brilliant. I love it. Yeah, returning to the factory settings, it brings back the Republic. Taken away in 1871, and this unconstitutional corporation that started to infiltrate and infiltrated to every state down to all the way to the county level. We have to turn all of that back around.
So this whole thing is built up.
Okay, so what do you believe in Juan and Jaco and Sheila is saying? Yes, the war is about taking out a lot of things. It's not just about the money. Right now, it is the money, but you know what they were taking out, and then they went back and they took it out again because they found more and more, and they kept taking them out. And what they did was use rods of God 3 times on some of the oil tankers, and then they were doing drone bombs. Again, they're back to doing drone bombs, but if it quit this morning, then maybe they came. Hold on a second, guys. I got a call coming in. Hang on. Okay, so let's go. Somebody was in here and was verifying that the information is correct. All right, so I told you earlier, and I have to be careful. Be careful who you're listening to. What? So, Lynn, since Sheila talks to them, is she? I don't know. I don't know. And again, only if it's confirmed will I ever say anything, because I will not bring somebody down that I don't know one thing about or the other. And you got to remember, these are respectable podcasters. So I am not going to bring them down. They have to do what they feel they have to do or whatever they want to do. I'm responsible for what I do. And if they want to rip me down, you don't think I won't go after them? See, I don't believe in that. If you want to go after me and say bad things about me and everything, which they have done many a times, and they were horrible about it. But I'm not going to go back on them anymore. I just don't believe in that. That is child's play, and I don't believe in it. We're adults and we should behave like adults. Can it upset you, make you mad, and make you cry? Yes. But it's just the way it is. Now, keep it to yourself. How do you feel about that? Now, I just told you something about 107. Even though he was being okay over there, doesn't mean he's okay everywhere and every time. Because I know he's not. You should know he's not. All right. But he always tries to overtalk everybody. And this is upsetting a lot of the podcasters because he seems to be going stronger and stronger with this talking. And I didn't like it at the very beginning, but he had good information. Then I caught something and I walked away. I says, no. Now I'm hearing what I suspected. So that should tell you something. Okay, so let's listen to this guy. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I'm not fond of this guy, but he's so right on this one. Oh, it's not playing? Oh, no. Hold on a minute. I didn't see you guys. Hold on. Why isn't that taking us again? Hold on. I'm going to try to reject this thing again. Tell me if you guys see it. Oh, no, what happened here? Oh, I know why. You went out on my face. There we go. Can anybody see it? Okay. Now, just listen. You don't have to like or you can like. It doesn't matter. Just listen. I'm going to back it up here. Okay. Let's restart this again.
Hey guys, I want to let you know I still care about you and love you. Yeah, I've got away from love, kindness, forgiveness, and everything else, but this whole thing has been taken way too far. Military, you don't have. It's got to end. But this is a public service announcement, and I'm serious. 107, do not listen to that character anymore. Yeah, I'm telling you what to do. No, I'm not. But for your own benefit, for your own physical, emotional, and mental health and spiritual, do not ever listen to that nails running down a chalkboard voice of his again. It's like he's messed my mind up, and I hadn't listened to that POS for years. I have 100% confirmation he is put out there to distract people from the truth and to drive us crazy. He had all of us believing if you followed him, this would end March 15th, 2021. Stop listening to him, guys. Now he's saying that it's going to a massive undertaking and we're going to have to fix all the elections for the EBS, which I don't think the EBS ever happened. I think it was another distraction. And before we can undertake this country is destroyed right now. They cannot push this any longer. And they have had plenty of time to do this. Plus, we're in the new republic. We don't need that. You got to think. But he has messed many of people's minds up, probably millions. And not only that, there's probably several people self-deleted because of that. Get off that. Get off that character. Get off trusting him. Yeah, Wayne Willett is one of his characters, the one on stage, but that's not him sitting there. And let me listen to this. Let me tell you this. And I know this to be true. He is not JFK Jr. He is not. He is not. And JFK Jr. ain't going to be your savior anyway. That man is not JFK Jr. That is an actor. Again, I know that to be true. Okay? JFK Jr., the one you think the good one, he ain't even alive now. He was taken out as a real Trump because he's part of the club. You podcasters pushing that Gordo, you're going to answer for it. And this Jesus and hurting my people, I know it not to be true. I know Quigley to be a fraud. He's not bad, but he did psyop y'all and take millions and millions of dollars off that little book he wrote. He is actually a Quigley. There were 3 of us and all adopted. Why? Because JFK Sr. couldn't have children because he wasn't a man starting off with. Part of the club. People are going to be disappointed in that too. It's been a military operation for years, central casting in 1925. I'll leave it at that. Do your own research. I know. I'm the grandson of Senator J. William Fulbright. My father's a Rockefeller Winthrop. They're very bad people. Fulbright, I don't know though. Yeah, I've got a grandma, grandpa. Yeah, were they part of the club? Probably. I don't know how they do this stuff, but I know my grandfather was involved with JFK, and I know that it's the Calhoun bloodline. It's not the Kennedy. Okay? Watch my story, and it's just the tip of the iceberg. Mitchell Gaither YouTube, my JFK connection, and explain something. Yeah, I'm Bill Clinton's brother, and I'm not proud of it. Watch it. And that's just the tip of the iceberg who I really am. But stop right now thinking that anybody outside yourself is going to save you. The military's not. It's clear they would have done it if they was going to. I guess it had to be this way. Jesus is not going to save you. Thoth the Atlantean's not going to save you. Yeshua's not going to save you. He come to show you that you are Christ. You save yourself. Satan ain't going to save you. JFK Sr.'s not going to come back from the grave and save you. Trump's not going to come back from the grave and save you. JFK Jr. Onassis or his wife with the male collarbones ain't going to come over to save you. They could give a rat's less about you, but I care about you because that's one.
Okay, do any of you guys listen to him? Preach it. Okay, he is who he says he is. And I did get that verified. I couldn't believe it when they said yes. I went, oh my God. She goes, that's his personality. And you said always everybody should be their personality. I said, oh my God. I said, I can't stand to listen to him. She says, well, what can I tell you? She goes, that's what it is. Mama Bear, go back and listen. He tells you who he is. But now he's retired. But anyway. What? Well, isn't he just a lovely guy, so full of negativity? I don't play him much, Mama Bear. I really don't. He's around, but I just don't play him much. The only thing I wanted you to hear was the beginning. And that's because I was playing that person and I was trying to tell you something and he told you. No, No, he's related to a different family. Guys, go back and listen to it. He tells you who his mom and dad is and all that. He tells you. It's brief, but he tells you. No, Swally Pop, no. Go back and listen. All right, so let's go forward here. Now, I tried to find a date on this. It says see more, but I can't find it. Anyway, let's play it and let's see where we can pinpoint where they're talking about this. It's called the final disclosure.
The fully orchestrated step-by-step delivery of absolute truth.
Okay. So are you guys getting it? Okay, let's
This is the playbook, so listen closely. So first things first, you have to understand the core concept here. It's called the final production. Every event that's about to happen, and to most people it's going to look like complete and utter chaos, is actually part of a meticulously controlled military operation. Nothing is random. It is all a grand production with one single goal: to wake up humanity. And this right here, this is the headline for the entire show. A total white hat / GAA production. Now, we'll get into exactly what those terms mean in a second, but the main takeaway is this. What looks like the world falling apart is actually a strategic military-grade takedown of the old parasite system. And get this, that system is already gone. We're just watching the final scenes of the movie play out. So who exactly is running this thing? Who are the producers? Well, these are the key players, the white hats. And we're not just talking about some political insiders here. No, they're described as this dedicated force of both human and, yes, ET souls who have incarnated on Earth over and over again specifically for this mission. They're the boots on the ground working hand in glove with the Global Galactic Alliance and Space Force to execute this final phase. So what's the end game? What's the whole point? It's all a very, very delicate balancing act. The whole operation is designed to be just shocking enough to jolt the masses awake, to finally shatter that collective trance, and to completely dismantle the old parasite infrastructure. But, and this is absolutely crucial, it's designed to do all of this in a controlled way, to pull us back from the brink of a total, uncontrolled societal collapse. Think of it as a controlled demolition, not a free fall. Okay, so how do you get the undivided attention of billions of people who have been programmed their whole lives to ignore the truth? That's where this next part comes in. The 4 scare events. The plan requires a sequence of really dramatic, staged events. They're designed to be so unbelievable that they just completely override the mainstream narrative, capture everyone's attention, and force the world to question everything they thought was real. And here they are, the 4 major acts in this global play. We're talking about a worldwide communications blackout, followed by a simulated world war, then a totally mind-bending fake alien invasion, and finally symbolic energy strikes against the world's most infamous seats of power. Each one is a calculated move designed to crank up the pressure on the collective until it finally breaks free. Let's break each one down. First up, the comms blackout. This is what creates the initial shock and silence. It forces everyone to look up from their phones. The plan is to sever the main undersea fiber optic cables, which will effectively just turn off the internet and global communications. Instantly, the old media guard will start pushing a fake story, pointing fingers at some enemy to stir up as much fear as possible. Right after the blackout, we move into the next phase, World War III theater. And the keyword here really is theater. This is not a real war. The plan calls for very limited surgical missile strikes on sites that have already been cleared out, empty buildings, symbolic locations. But the media, they're going to amplify it to make it look like we're on the edge of nuclear Armageddon. The whole point of this performance is to push the global fear level to its absolute maximum. Then, right at the peak of all that manufactured fear, they pull out the showstopper, the fake alien invasion. You may have heard this called Project Bluebeam. It's basically using advanced holographic tech, our own tech, repurposed to create these huge, totally believable illusions. The skies will literally fill with holographic fleets. Can you even imagine? The shockwave from that alone is designed to just shatter any last remaining piece of what we thought was a normal reality. And the final act of these scare events? Symbolic energy strikes. The plan says that direct energy weapons operated by the Alliance will hit 34 very specific buildings around the world. These are places that are seen as the symbolic anchors of the old power structure. We're talking the Vatican, Buckingham Palace, the White House. Within this operation, these places are considered satanic strongholds, and taking them down is a very public, very symbolic end of the old guard. So after this series of escalating, engineered chaos, the whole plan shifts gears. The scare events are meant to create this global pause, this moment where the entire world is just in shock and finally ready to hear something new. And that brings us to Section 3, the lockdown window, a period specifically for mass revelation. Now, it is so important to understand what this lockdown is and what it isn't. This is nothing like the health-related lockdowns we've seen before. No, this is a military-led stabilization effort. It's designed specifically to protect civilians and maintain order, to create a safe and calm environment for everyone to process the information that's about to be released. It's for protection, not control. So, during this 3 to 10 day lockdown, the Emergency Broadcast System, or EBS, is going to be activated globally. It's going to take over every single TV, radio, and online channel, and for 72 hours, or maybe even longer, it's going to broadcast a series of pre-made, high-def documentaries, and these will contain irrefutable proof of everything that's been hidden: the election fraud, the industrial-scale child trafficking rings, the satanic rituals of the elites, and all the evidence of their bloodline control. The whole purpose of the EBS is crystal clear, and this quote says it all. The goal is to deliver names, faces, and evidence so undeniable that it shatters the false reality of the sleepers in one single decisive blow. After this, there will be no going back. There will be no room left for doubt. You might be thinking, okay, but with these kinds of world-shattering truths being beamed into every home, how do you stop society from just completely flying apart? It's a natural question. And that brings us to our 4th section, securing the realm. This part of the plan is all about the logistics of keeping order. This slide shows a huge shift in public authority. According to the plan, all the existing police forces around the world will be officially stood down. They're out. In their place, the Earth Alliance military will become a visible presence on the streets. But here's the key difference. Their job isn't law enforcement. It's civilian protection during this transition. And let's be perfectly clear on this point. The plan is adamant. This is not oppressive martial law. Not even close. It's described as a temporary protective measure, purely to provide a secure and stable environment. The entire goal is to let people safely absorb the bombshells from the EBS broadcasts without society falling into widespread chaos and violence. And this quote right here is the ultimate reassurance. It confirms that the real battle, it's already been won. The old parasite network has been gone for years. What we are all about to witness is simply the final act of a scripted disclosure. It is not a last-ditch power grab. It's a victory lap. So we've walked through the whole global plan, from the scare events to the lockdown to the truth broadcasts. But that brings us to the final and honestly the most important part of this whole thing, your role. This is where the plan becomes personal. This is where you become a key player on the board. And so this slide asks the most important question for anyone who's hearing this. When the world is in shock, when that AI scaffolding, the automated social and media programs that run the old reality, when all of that starts to crumble, what are you supposed to do? What's your job? And here it is. This is your mission directive. Your role isn't to argue. It's not to try and preach into the noise. Your job is to be a lighthouse, a point of stability, calmly holding your ground, being that beacon of calm and clarity for everyone around you who will be totally lost in the storm as their entire world shatters. So, this is your final instruction, and it's the most powerful part of the entire plan. When the time comes, the most impactful thing you can possibly do is just stay calm. Anchor that frequency of truth. Be the lighthouse for your family, your friends, your community. This was the plan all along, and now you know your part to play.
Okay, so I was shown this and I did watch it. And I said, let me ask you something. How old is this? Well, they got so many questions going on. They put me in the back burner. And then I forgot to re-ask it before it ran out. So when I did ask, I had to send them something and say, can you tell me how old that was? And is anything in that playbook been changed? And she said, oh, yes. She goes, but what we wanted to show was how things were going to go. She said, there's going to be everything in between, such as your RV, your getting some of your money back. But she also, again, stated that those payouts would come out different ways and at different times. They were not going to all come out at once. And I said, okay. I said, so are we going to go into lockdown? She goes, yes, but no. She said, it's a volunteer lockdown, but if you go out on the streets and you act very improper, meaning pew-pews and things like that, you will be arrested. And because at that time, you will be in the common law. You will no longer be in the maritime law. So they will not reduce, but she said they would change the sentencing because nobody knew what the truth actually was. So I was like, wow, oh, okay. So that's where we're standing right now. She said, we are right now in it right this moment, and it will go super fast. It will be finished by the end of the year, but there will be cleanup left in 2027, which I think I've said that before. So they are going to pull the alien invasion thing on us. And the reason is because it's a distraction because of the truth coming out, because they can't handle the truth. And again, that's another place where we come in. And I told you this before. You really don't want to be there for somebody that's going to fall apart when they hear the truth? Of course we do. We're God's children. But the others ones, they won't. People, even people that believe, they said, I don't want no part of that. I got to worry about my own family. Well, how selfish can you be? These people will actually, I think, they won't jump out of buildings, but I think it will scare them. I think it would make them so upset. And they will think everybody is lying to them. That's where we come in. That's where we are the news and we are the truth tellers. So that's why I'm trying to get this through to you through every message I can on what is truly happening. Because we're getting ready to wind down so that this can begin. You saw the steps. They're not going to take that long. You have all these things happening, and then they're going to come out. So you want your families to wake up? Be there for them. Even though you tried, they're going to probably get more angry and deny. I mean, I sit back and I think about it, and it's like, but we're all different. Some's going to say, wow, I can't believe I did that. But they'll be okay with it. Because some people don't want to hear the truth. Some people rather just not even care. And that's going to happen to a lot of these people. The lockdown is not going to go across the world. It will be all different because of the countries. They're just different countries. I thought they did that very well. I don't know what you guys think, but I do. You guys want to hear something funny? Do I have it? Wait, where'd it go? I thought this was so cute. What did I do with it? Oh, come on. I think I put it back here somewhere. Okay. I was going to play this in the lineup this morning, but I said, no, it's not fitting for the lineup. So I said, I'll put it somewhere else. No, I haven't. Just got to find it. Maybe I took it out. Wait a minute. Hold on. It's really cute. There it is. Okay, I'm going to show this to you. I thought it was funny because I could actually see this playing out. So I wanted to see if you can get a giggle or two this morning. I like to see you laugh.
In this $250 bill, my face, very handsome, very presidential. First new bill in decades, and they put the best looking president on it. Not Lincoln, not Washington, me.
Donald, nobody carries cash anymore.
They will now. People are going to withdraw cash just to look at me. ATMs are going to be backed up for weeks. The banks are very excited about it.
Why 250? Why not 100?
Because Benjamin Franklin is on the 100, and I'm not replacing Ben. Great guy. Electricity, bifocals, very productive. But 250 is bigger than 100. More zeros, more Trump. Very simple math.
There aren't more zeros.
Melania, I'm on money now. My face is legal tender. You can buy things with my face. That's the American dream. I just completed it. Nobody's ever done that. Happy Thursday, folks. Have you seen?
Look at the book. Did you guys look at what she was reading? She was sitting there reading the Art of War. I tell you, I watched some of these babies. They absolutely cracked me up. I looked over and I saw that Art of War. I said, holy cow. Oh my God. I hope you guys enjoy that. You know what? It just breaks up the tenseness we feel sometimes. I know I do. But it's nice just to relax and just laugh, because I see, so many people that just aren't laughing anymore. And I'm like, guys, come on. It's not that bad. Because they don't know what's coming. So Hey, listen, we pay the prices just as everybody, except I just don't get as much as I used to. And you know what? That's okay. We'll get through this somehow. Well, if you have somebody that is mean to you, they won't be mean anymore. So don't say anymore. They're going to come out. That's right, Josie. Laughter is good for the soul. Absolutely. Dave, I'm going to post it down on Telegram. I just love it. I really do. I'm so glad you guys are back. You know, I like laughing with people that enjoy something that's funny.
Woke up early with the sunlight shining, coffee on the stove and the church bells chiming. Mama said, boy, don't forget where you're from. Mud on your boots and faith in the sun. Down that back road, past the cypress trees, I feel that mercy right next to me. It's a back road blessing rolling through my soul. Got a little bit of heaven everywhere I go. Hands up praising, feet on solid ground. When the world gets heavy, grace still comes around. Oh, yeah. River keeps moving like it always knew. The storms may come, but we make it through. Neighbors waving from a front porch chair. Troubles feel lighter in that southern air. Down that back road, past the cypress trees, I feel that mercy right next to me. It's a back road blessing rolling through my soul. Got a little bit of heaven everywhere I go. Hands up praising, feet on solid ground. When the world gets heavy, grace still comes around. Now, I say that's a good way of sending you off for the weekend.
fun. I was back here doing the two-stepping. I had my hands up doing the two-stepping. And Samantha says, get your dancing shoes on. You know what? We haven't heard some good playing in a long time. And I know some of you are from the South. And I said, you know what? Let's make it a Southern day. So I want you guys to always dance. Forget about your troubles, forget about everything, and just dance. We can't change anything because only God can. And I'm so happy to be back here today. I sure did miss you. There were so many things I said, oh, I got to tell him this. And I go, oh, wait, I can't. You know, I forget things too. So I'm only human, but I try to make the best of everything. I really do. And when I can't, then I cry. And then I cry and everybody says, what's wrong? No, nobody asks what's wrong. All my friends have moved away. So now it's just Ghost and I. And it's been really, really lonely. And, you know, if it wasn't for meetings or things like that, I don't know what I would do. It's just, I'm a person. I'm very outgoing. I love people. Obvious, like you don't know that, but I like helping people, you know. I guess as my name said, you know who picked out my name? Ghost. Simply Lynn. Because I really am. I mean, I wear the same clothes as everybody else do. I mean, once upon a time, I was a snob. I worked for corporate America. And God said, no, 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 no. You're not this person, which I knew I wasn't. I didn't like half the things they did. And so I stepped down. But I still wore my clothes, but I wasn't a snob anymore. And I'm glad that he caught me in time because I never wanted to be that way. You see, when you get a job and you don't realize, and I was young, and I didn't realize that they were corporate America. I never knew what that meant. And then things began to happen and then happen more and happen more. And then I questioned. And when I got questioned, I was told, shut up. And I thought, why? Well, evidently they didn't want me to know something. So then when I did find out, I was done. I was absolutely done. So I went back and I quit my job and I said, now what do I do? So the business that I was in took a dump for a while, but I went strong. I had a big, huge inventory of companies that did business with me. They stayed with me for years. Well, when I left, I didn't dress the same, but I still had my smile. I was still polite to people. I got better with my inner being. So this guy comes to me who had purchased a business that I had been in or that I was in. And he said, can we meet? And I said, why? And he says, I just like to talk with you. And I says, for what? Well, there you come. See all the questions. And then when he said, well, we're going to meet down in the square. And I said, okay, that's all right. I can meet you there. So he met me there and we started talking and he said, I'd like to hire you. And I said, what? I said, well, what do you do? And then he told me, and I said, well, who did you purchase? And he said, this company. And I said, are you kidding me? And he goes, no, why? I said, that company went bankrupt. And I said, you bought the name? He goes, no, I bought the company. I said, there is no company. The company is bankrupt. So he goes, well, I got all the files and stuff. And I said, oh my God. I said, wait a minute. So you don't have a name. You don't have a company. and you want me to come work for you? It's like, I don't think so. So I said, you know what? Thank you for the dinner. And I walked out. So he calls me again. He goes, maybe I approached this the wrong way. And I said, well, I don't know how else you could approach it than what you just said. And then I remembered, okay, go hear him out. So he says, well, let's meet back at the same place. I said, okay. So his wife came this time. So I met her. She was okay. And so she really didn't say much, but he kept apologizing and apologizing. I said, okay, I get it. I get it. He goes, I said, so what do you want to meet for? He goes, I want to scrap everything and I want you to run it. I said, hello? I said, you know, I would be taking people from the company I used to work for because I know they would follow me wherever I go. And I says, I don't think I can do that. I said, I would have to go and talk with them. And I just don't think I want to hear the swearing coming at me. And he goes, no. He goes, I have an attorney who will help with that department. And I says, well, I'm not under an NDA. I says, that's just the way I am. I says, I don't steal from people. And he says, are you really stealing? He goes, so his attorney walks in. He introduces himself. And I says, whoa, I didn't know an attorney was going to be here. Long story. So the attorney told me that I could have them follow me. I could even take them because I was under an NDA. I says, I will not take them. I says, so if they want to follow me, they can follow me. I said, but I sure will feel bad for my company that I work for because there was a man and woman owner, and the lady, I just loved her so much, but I couldn't stand him. Now he had that company and another one. I couldn't stand him then. So I started working for him, and we started in this little 400 square foot office, 3 of us. Now imagine that one. Then you have people coming in to interview to help out working there. And I'm like, oh my God, are we ever going to make this through this? So I realized one person had been with a really good company that was still in business. So I went to her and I said, listen, can I take you to lunch? She said, sure. I like free lunches. Well, I had known her through some other things. And I said, listen, this is where I'm going and this is what I'm doing. She goes, why would you go there? It's not there anymore. I says, I know. She goes, well, you don't have any following. She said, you don't have any people. I said, yes. I said, we'll get following. She goes, yeah, I heard you were pretty good. And I says, I think they will follow. She goes, you're not going out there? But I says, no, they have to come on their own. She said, well, good girl for you. She goes, of course, I'll accept it. Didn't hear how much she was going to get paid or nothing. I was so honored by that. So when we got back together again, and I says, are you going to ask how much you're going to get paid? And she goes, not really. She goes, I know you'll do right by me. And I said, no, I'm handing you over a piece of paper how much you're getting paid, and I need you to agree to it or not. So she looked at it and she goes, oh my God. She goes, of course I agreed to it. I said, okay, but I still had to do that. So long story short, we became the #1 company in the surrounding area of the Cleveland and Summit County and Cauga, Summit, and Fairview. And I'm sorry, Medina. No, that's Summit. It's the other way. Oh, anyway, there was 4 of them. We stayed on top for about 3 years. And the owner was working there, but he only did the financing or the finances. So I had my own office and everything. I had to fire his wife because she just couldn't get along with anybody. And so I went into Rick and I said, listen, she's not helping anybody here. She's griping at him. I said, I can't have that. I says, I need her doing the books with you. And he goes, okay, well, fire her. I don't know, you fire her. He goes, no, I hired you to do that. So I went in, I said her name, and I says, can we talk a second? And she goes, yeah, what? And I said, hold right back. I go back into his office. I says, you come and do it. I go, she's already being mean. He goes, just do it. And I go, no. So we both went in there, and he's married to her for years. And they had other businesses. And I'm like, oh, wow, here we go. So he tells her, he says, you know what? You're not used here. We don't need you here. So go find yourself another job. I looked at him and I go, oh my God, how that was terrible. And he goes, what's so terrible? Rick had no sense of humor until after he met me. Long story short, he goes on all these vacations. And of course, I'm in charge. So I didn't think anything of it. Now, he did all the banking. He did all that. I didn't do any of it. So I had a knock on the door because we were closed. And I was in there doing work. And no, I didn't have any files for like the cabinets or anything like that. I had my own files. And we shared an office. So somebody comes knocking at the door, and I was like, who's there? And he says, can you please just open the door? And he slammed something up against the glass. And I said, don't break my glass. Well, I opened the door, and there's these two black coats there. And I'm like, okay, what's this all about? So he says, do you know so-and-so? And I says, yes. He says, do you work for so-and-so? And I said, yes. And he says, do you know where he is right now? And I said, yes. And I said, but I don't think you can reach him. And he says, why? And I says, because he's on a ship. And he says, what kind of a ship? And I said, a cruise ship. He says, who's with him? I says, I guess his wife and kids. I said, I don't talk to him like ask him personal stuff. And he goes, so we can't get a hold of him. I go, maybe you can, but I can't. I said, he's gone for 2 weeks. He goes, so you run the place, and he takes off for 2 weeks. And I says, what's wrong with that? Now I was getting pissed. I said, so why are you here? And what is it that you want? He says, you better sit down. So I sat down, and I said, and I was very professional. I look at him. I said, so what? What is it you're wanting? And I said, so who, first show me. And then they showed me these badges. They were badges. So I said, okay. I said, so what's going on? He says, I need to know exactly where he is. I said, I just told you. And I said, okay. Did he do something? He goes, we don't know. That's what we're trying to find out. And I said, okay, well, you need to take this up with him. He says, no. He says, we need to find him now. I said, I told you where he is. So I even turned around on his desk where he had penciled in where he was going and the cruise line ship. And I said, here, take that. I said, that's all I have. He goes, that's well enough. But there was more that happened after that. So I became the owner of that company because of something he did, which I was super upset with for months. It got all over what Rick did and everything else. And I lost a lot of my customers because of Rick. I don't know if it's true to this day. I really don't know anything about it. I was just so mad at him that I built up such a great empire of business that he could do anything against that business. I was so hurt. I couldn't even talk to him. I couldn't say why. You know, people always want to hurt other people, and I don't understand this. This is why I'm telling you. I've learned to enjoy life. Yeah, I get stressed, I get down, but I've enjoyed to learn life. Because you know what? The tears aren't worth it. Because at that time, I was really bad. I mean, I was really bad. I worked hard to get where I was going to. And I don't really feel in my heart that he did it on purpose. But they said he did. But I just couldn't believe it. So go out, love yourself, and don't let anybody pull you down. That's why I say, go get grounded. Let your light shine and be who you are. You know what? We have enough of this crap in our life right now than to have anybody else do us bad. And you know, the people that say you're friends, are they? I mean, do you always have to call each other? Or one call the other and not the other one? And I mean, I have people whining and crying right now, and it's just like, guys, this is the way it works in life. But you know what? I get so busy, and I do apologize for any of you that I have not answered back. I get so busy that I forget sometimes. And it's just, you know, I'm running here, I'm running there, I'm making phone calls, I'm doing things, and I'm getting older, and I realize that. And I know I need to slow down, but right now, I take every day as I can. And that's what you need to do. Because if you don't, you won't make it. So sit back, pray, pray, pray. Because God does hear us. And He loves you very much as I do. And I don't care how bad people talk about me. I know who I am. And I know what people have done to me. But I don't do anything against them. Because God doesn't do anything against you or me. But I want you to laugh, love, and live. Things could get worse. But you know the truth. Just hang on and it'll be over. And before you know it, everything will work out. It always does. Because God leads us in the path. So keep the chin up. Keep your love going. And if you haven't talked to your friends or looked in on them, maybe you should. Be a friend. Because you can't be a friend if you're not a friend to them. I try as much as I can. And I miss a lot of them. A lot of them have moved away. But remember, Ghost and I love you. We're here for you. And know we're always praying for you. Every single day. Now go out and get grounded. The temperatures here are great for that. We're finally getting into the 80s here. Yeah, some 70s, but that's okay. It's only the beginning of June. So get out there and enjoy your life. You know, the simple things can make you happy. And I don't know what else I can tell you. Except love your children, your families, your friends. And have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Because we're never promised a tomorrow. And that one, I always remember. We're never promised a tomorrow. We'll see you back, if not over the weekend, which I do not think so yet. But no matter what, we will be up. And I do have everything ready to go. If I see or hear that it will be going up, I will let you know. If they tell me a date that it's definitely going up and they can show me that date stamp, I will be up. Go out now. Dance like never before. And put on some of that little tango stuff. Move those hips. Like me, after 2 hours, I got to get up. All right, guys, have a wonderful weekend. Remember, we love you. Stay blessed because you are. and we'll see you on the next turn. Bye-bye, everybody.